Yes, the one and only Moon Griffon is here. Hey, Mr. Moon, how are you? Happy sort of, Mardi Gras.
Say what, down here, that's all they're thinking about.
Up here, that's all they're thinking about. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and God just made me think of you, which is why we wanted to have you on. Friend of mine yesterday knows a state senator down in Baton Rouge who shall remain nameless because he requests that. And, you know, we just did the budget deal, the state legislature, and Governor John Bel, and the $99 million from the rainy day fund. And what this state senator down in Baton Rouge said is, the more you get into it, the more complicated and convoluted and complex and screwed up and unsolvable it is, and that most of it isn't on John Bel, but it's on Bobby Jindal. Do you agree with that?
It's kind of, first of all, I can't defend Bobby Jindal. I think what Jindal and them did were wrong. John Bel Edwards voted for the first 5 of the first 7 budgets. Okay, so how can you blame just Jindal? You had a going along legislature that voted and supported with everything he did, including Bel Edwards, except for the last year. He voted for 5 budgets. So, no, I don't buy into that. I do buy that Jindal was more worried, and I used to say it. You guys heard me for a long time say that Jindal was selfish. And all they ever thought about was what his next plans were. And he really didn't concentrate on his state. That's a fact, and that's why we have some of the problems. We've had these problems before Jindal got there. We're going to have them after, because nobody is doing anything concrete structurally to change what we do in Louisiana. And if we're not going to change that, I don't care what they do next time. I don't care how much money they raise. And I think you'll see another $1.5 billion in taxes. They're not going to fix the problem. And that's the problem. The problem to concentrate on is not what they're concentrating on, just raising revenue. I'm telling y'all, they can blame Jindal all they want to, but you had some people voting with him. John Bel Edwards being one of them. John Alario, 8 out of 8 budgets, guys. These people support the same stuff no matter who the governor's in. So how is it on one guy? And I'm not defending Jindal, because Jindal had his problems, no doubt about it.
And as time goes on, this same senator said that the problems that they worked so hard, or at least seemed to work so hard to solve here at the last minute with the special session, he said he said this is just the tip of the iceberg. This isn't going to go away anytime soon. What about that?
No. Well, the thing about it is not. Remember, they raised almost $2 billion in the session last year. Guys, except for one tax, and I forget which one it was, cigarette tax or something like that, everything is temporary. So guess what? It all comes back. It's all coming back up, because it's not permanent taxes. It's temporary taxes. And a lot of taxes, they only set up for like 18 months. So, no, you're going to see a disaster. Now, what they're going to do is try to come back and call it tax reform, when it's basically should be called by the real name, tax increase, because you're not going to have a reform. If you're not going to reform the universities, and we got too many, nobody wants to address it, too many employees, we're not addressing the road situation, although they think an extra tax is going to do that. They're not going to. If you don't address the problems, you never fix them. You never fix them. If me and Aaron are married, God forbid, I know Aaron.
Yeah.
But if me and Aaron are married and we have some structural problems and we think the answer is go get a credit card, we're not going to fix the problem.
Oh, boy,
They're not addressing the real problem.
You know, we had Senator John Milkovich here yesterday, and he sort of implied that the way this has been handled, this budget problem has been handled by the John Bel, by the Edwards administration, is sort of a manipulation to raise taxes down the line.
Absolutely, because what you do is you spend some more of your savings account, okay? And you got Jim Richardson, who's been on a revenue estimating conference for all these years that we've had all these problems, is now coming out and saying our problem is we're not spending enough money. And Jim Richardson is God to the press, and that's what they're going to keep reporting. You got to remember, the revenue estimating conference is made of, you ready? Jay Darden, Jim Richardson, who works for government, Jay Darden's in government, John Alario, and then the Speaker of House, Taylor Barra. Well, Barra is new to the game. These guys, Alario and Darden and who did I mention?
Richardson?
The third
Jim
guy.
Richardson.
Yeah.
Those guys have been around all this time, and nothing's ever been fixed. Let me give you all a quick example, Aaron.
Oh, go ahead.
Quick example. Remember Edwards came out and said, I need $119 million of the rainy day fund. Remember? The House jumped up and said, no, we're going to give you $74 million. John Alario said, I need $99 million. What number did they settle on?
$99 million.
Why? John Alario. Been running this state for 46 years.
When are we going to have somebody step up and say, we are going to cut the budget? We spend too much in our state.
Your problem, I think, Aaron, and Milkovich, you can ask him. I think, I'm starting to believe this anyway, the reason it's never going to be fixed, and you heard me never, is because I think they go down there, they like the whining and dining, and the people that are whining and dining them are the people that get the money from government. And they decide that, you know what, I got to do what's best for the state and not what's best for the constituents back home. So they get into protecting government and helping government more than they help the people. We can't afford any more taxes to be raised in this state, but it's coming. Now, they're going to disguise it. They're going to say, well, we're going to cut a penny sales tax, but they're going to increase the income taxes. They're going to get rid of the deductions. All these exemptions on these businesses, I got to tell y'all, businesses wouldn't come here. All those exemptions for those businesses, not all, but a lot of them, is because businesses won't come here. So what's going to happen when you get rid of them? And I'm telling y'all, they got this thing in a quagmire that I don't know if we can get out of it. Edwards is not trying to get out of it. He's trying to run for re-election. And so what he's doing is he's going to raise as many taxes as he can, hoping this helps the budget out a while until he gets re-elected, which I think he's a one-term governor. I still think he gets beat.
Moon, thank you so much.
It's not all gender, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody tell y'all, like, was he a problem? Absolutely. But so was these people in the legislature.
Yeah.
John Alario voted for 8 of the 8 budgets. How come nobody's pointing to him? He's the leader.